Hello and welcome back to Mr. Powers Teaches Algebra. Let's switch this around a little bit. So today, what we are doing is we're going to go over just some word problems. We're going to do a variety of them, and I'm probably going to switch them up between a bunch of different videos. So, without further ado, I feel like the best way to do this sometimes, especially for this format, is just to of course, you read our notes, but on top of that, maybe it would just be really good to just jump into an example and see how we can attack these as we go. So let's do it. In a certain algebra class, there is a total of 350 possible points. These points come from 5 homework sets that are 10 points each. All right, 350 possible points. And 3-hour exams that are worth 100 points each. So we got 5 homework sets. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. So that's 150 or 350. There we go. So that's how we get our 350 points. 3 100-point tests and 5 10-point assignments. Okay. A student has received homework scores of 4, 8, 7, 7, and 9, and the first 2 exam scores are 78 and 83. So what are we missing? Missing 1 exam score. Okay. Everything else is in. Assuming that grades are assigned according to the standard scale and there are no weights assigned to any of the grades, is it possible for a student to receive an A in the class? If so, what is the minimum score on the 3rd exam that will give an A? What about a B? Oops. So let's go ahead. Oops. Wrong button. I'm hitting the wrong button. There we go. Anyway, so let's go ahead and solve this problem. Now, this is a nice one because there's no diagram, so we read the problem. We make sure we understand it really well. If we need to read it again, we'll read it again. And we start going for it. So first off, what I'm doing is I'm getting a grade. And we want to get an A. And what is an A? An A is a 90%. A is at least 90%. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I get 90%? Zoom out a little bit. Okay. And I also know to get my grade, I know there's 350 points possible. So hold on a second. There we go. It's a little better. So I know to get my grade, it's going to be my earned points. So the points I have, the points we have over the total possible points. Okay, and I know that that's how we get our grade. And I know I want that to be at least 90%. So I'm just going to say I'm going to make it equal to 0.90. And I already know this. This is how I'm doing it, right? And so really, I'm like, okay, this is what I know. And let's start filling it in as we go. So how many points do we have so far? So we can keep going, right? Because obviously we can't stop until we have one variable. Because all these equations, we're trying to turn this problem into an equation where we can solve and find the missing variable. So what we have for our points so far is 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 78 plus 83 plus one more test, right? And that's what we're talking about. All right, so what's the question? Assuming grades are assigned according to the standard scale and there are no weights assigned to any of the grades, is it possible for a student to receive an A in the class? What is the minimum score? Here it is. What is the minimum score in the 3rd exam that will give an A? Okay, so we need a minimum score. I'll just say that's my missing thing. It's X. And all that's going to be divided by, we were given 350. So let's do a little simplifying here. What do all those numbers add up to? All right. What do they all add up to? I'm going to cheat over here, and I'm going to go ahead and say is 196. So 196 plus X over 350. And I want that to be equal to 0.90. That is the hardest part with these, is just being able to figure out what the equation is. I feel like once we do that, now all we got to do is finish up the problem. So first things first, we're trying to get X by itself. I don't like this 350 here, so I'll multiply top and bottom by 350. We'll go ahead and multiply by that, multiply by 350. These guys cancel out. So we end up with, let's see here, 196 plus X equals whatever 0.9 times 350 is, and that's going to be 315. Now, I should make this an arrow. There. It's an arrow. Okay. Just make that. We can do better. We'll just say arrow. So this is what we have now, right? We're simplifying this. And we're really just taking this part here. Okay, so 350 times 0.9 is 315. And now last thing we got to do is subtract 196 from both sides, and I'll have my variable by itself. We'll have our solution. There you go. Minus 196 minus 196. And we get X equals, what's 315 minus 196? 119. Well, there you go. All we need to do is score 119 points on a 100-point test. Oh, shoot. Well, I guess that answers that question. It is not possible to get an A in the class anymore. Too bad, so sad. But we could get a B. And the only thing we would change to figure out what we need to get a B would be to get what we started with. Again, we had 196 plus X divided by 350. Remember, and that was the points we've earned out of the total possible. And we want that to be now 0.8. What would the minimum score need to be to get a B? That's 80%, 0.8. Solve this. And if you feel brave enough to do that, and for time's sake, I'm not going to do this one, but we would find that we would get, I should do ... this way, and what we'll get is X would be equal to 84. And that's totally doable. So if we can manage to get an 84, we could keep a B, or we go higher than that. We'll still have a B. And, that's very reasonable since our first test was 78, second test was an 83. It's pretty close to those. We should be able to do that. So there's that problem. Now let's go ahead and work out one more problem for this. And then we'll do a different type of a problem. Then we'll do a couple in the next video. So let's go ahead and do a more of a geometry type problem. Let's see about that. Okay, so hold on here. We're going to get this geometry problem in. Okay. So here we go. We want to build a set of shelves. The width of the set of shelves needs to be 4 times the height of the set of shelves. And the set of shelves must have 3 shelves in it. If there are 72 feet of wood to use to build the set of shelves, what should the dimensions of the shelves be? All right, so for this one's going to require a little bit more of a diagram. We're making shelves. Set of shelves. And yes. And so actually, I'll be honest with you. This one I would say it could be worded better, maybe. But here's the diagram we're going to go with. And we'll get the main ideas situated. All right? So let's see here. So let's build our shelves. We'll draw a quick little diagram. And whenever we can draw a diagram, we must, because it helps immensely with these. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's our 3 shelves. We want to build a set of shelves. The width of the set needs to be 4 times the height. So we can make the height x and the width 4x. There we go. And that's an important thing to realize when it says the width of the set of shelves need to be 4 times the height. So we just pick what do we want the height to be? We'll say x. So the width is 4 times that, 4x. Must have 3 shelves in it. So we got 1, 2, 3 shelves. Let's see here. And so we had this extra thing in there. If there are 72 feet of wood to use to build the set of shelves, what should the dimensions of the set of shelves be? So we are making an assumption here is that the top is going to be covered. So there's a couple ways we could do that, but we're going to make that assumption. And so judging from our diagram, what do we have? Well, we have a bunch of wood. We got feet of wood we're going to use. So how much wood do we have total here? I got 4x right here. But how many of those 4x's? I got one here. I got a 4x here. I got a 4x here. And we got a 4x for the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of those 4x's. Plus, we got an x on the right, and we got an x on the left. So plus 2 times x. That's how much wood we are using. But we also know another expression for the amount of wood we are using. And that expression was 72. We were also told that whole thing is 72 feet. And so, again, that is the difficult part with these. We already know how to solve equations. And so I'm going to go ahead and solve this quickly. I'm tempted not to. But we'll do it really quickly just for funsies and end it. So we get x equals 4. So there it is. Now let's make sure we get x equals 4. If this was a real problem, it would not say, what is x? Or maybe it would. What is it really asking for? It says, what should the dimensions of the set of shelves be? The dimensions are the width and the height, or the width and the length, whatever. Width and height. So x was one of them. X was the height, so we got that. We got the height, but we did not get the length. So we need the length. Well, the length was 4x. So what's 4x? We'd have to figure that out. Well, 4x, since x is 4, it's 4 times 4. And we get 16. And, of course, if we're being really complete, we'll say 16 feet. And then 4 feet for the height. 16 feet for the width. And then we can say we solved the problem. Okay? And there we go. So that should do it for this set of problems. There's a couple of problems we could work out together. And hopefully you find these examples helpful. Until next time, enjoy doing math.